everybody. Time for another exciting episode of The Stash, report from The Stash Project. Today is the 17th of June, 2016, and, decent show, I guess. Can't know till you guys watch it and let me know, but we got some kit announcements, kit releases. All in all, a fairly decent show. So this week, Hasegawa announced some stuff for August. All sort of modified reissues of one sort or another. They're going to be releasing a Type 2 cargo van, that's the Volkswagen, done in the Egg Girls of Summer 2016 motif. This will be a new set of decals, much like the Valentine's Day themed 23-window Samba wagon was. Egg Girls, of course, being the young ladies who are often in Catholic schoolgirl outfits, because that's a Japanese thing, that represent their 1/72nd scale egg plane series, which, of course, I'm assuming pretty much everyone has seen at least one of at some point in their lives. It's these sort of egg cartoonish caricatures of real-life airplanes. So they've sort of extended this now into a series of those girls, there's 3 of them, who then will go on to other kits that they've done in the past. So for Valentine's Day this year, they did the 23-window Samba van, which is like the passenger van version of the Type 2 Volkswagen van. And so they're going to put this onto the cargo panel van this year for the summer. And so there'll be new drawings. From what I've seen, they're all in bikinis, leaving their Catholic schoolgirl outfits off because, school's out for the summer. They're also going to be reissuing the Lanza 037 rally car again, this time in the Griffin Racing team, which has nothing to do with Harry Potter. It's a very nice-looking blue car with some yellow striping and accents. Pretty sharp-looking vehicle in of itself. I believe this would be a new livery scheme. The kit will just be what it always has been. And then they're going to be doing another version of their Lamborghini Miura P400 Super Veloce. This one as chassis 4846 full restoration. Now, for people who don't follow classic Lamborghinis, and I got to admit I had to look this up as well because I'm not that person either. Chassis 4846 was a combination of a Miura S and a bunch of other stuff cobbled together into a one-off display car show vehicle. This was what was displayed, I believe, I want to say at the Paris Auto Show. It may have been in Geneva. That part I'd have to go relook up. As being the prototype, basically, or the car show demonstrator for the Super Veloce. So this is the original Super Veloce, for lack of a better term. Lamborghini has opened, I believe, a year or 2 ago, a new center at the factory in Italy to restore classic Lamborghinis, and this is their first full, frame-off restoration of a vehicle, was restoring this prototype show vehicle. It looks, it's nothing, it's not like a show rod or anything else like that. It's literally, just the prototype that went around all the various auto shows back in 1970, I believe. And other than the thing being molded in metallic green because the original car was done in a metallic green, I don't know what is going to be different about this unless they really go in and would tool up some new pieces that would, show off the one-off nature of the combination of being prototype parts put into a Miura S. So, waiting to find out more details on that. I right now, I have not actually pre-ordered it because in my life I don't see the need for 2 Miuras. And I'm guessing it probably will be molded in metallic green just because, Japanese kids have the tendency to be molded in color in the first place. But, beyond that, I'm not, of this moment, aware of what the parts differences, if any, will be, or it's just a, real simple and easy way for Hasegawa to get that Miura back out in front of people in, a new box and new packaging. So there have been some kit releases this week. I realized that I don't have a picture of one of them. So we're going to reach underneath the desk here. So one of the things that came out this week, whoops, that's upside down, is this. This is the new it's a lot harder to film it this way than it is with the high def camera. But this is the new 1972 Ford Custom Sport, the next of the Mobius F100 series pickup trucks. This is a short bed, but instead of like all of the Model King versions of this that came with a slant 6, this actually has a small block. It's a 302, and then of course it's got the new grill and everything for the 1972 model year. So this is out. I meant to just take a picture of the box and do it like we usually do. Just showing it in the photo shower, but yeah, I forgot. So that's out. So that's like I said, beyond the new engine and of course the upgraded parts to to make it into the 1972 version. There's nothing really new about it per se. For anybody who wanted a short bed but didn't want that weird wonky slanted six that's in the Model King one, and by the way, if you've never seen one before, for some reason on the slant sixes that are in the Model King, instead of it being a flat deck on the bottom, it goes on a diagonal, and I'm not sure if that's just because it needs to clear the front cross member, or people are really that completely totally confused to what a straight line looks like, but both of them have it, and it's just a design feature, mistake, whatever you want to call it, of that kit. This, like I said, has a 302. I haven't opened it yet to see what it looks like, because of course these F100s have had various issues with warping, texture, and all that sort of thing. It is what it is in Mobius' sense. I don't, if you write to them and complain about it, they'll tell you to stick it in your ear and blow it out your, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Several people now have gotten warp Plymouths and been told by Mobius to just put the kit together; it'll unwarp as you build it. So I've gotten to the point now where if there's something wrong with these kits, we'll either just bin them or do something else with them, or try to fix the thing. So far, I have opened my satellite and it doesn't have a bad warp. I don't think it has a warp to it at all. But then people know that my 69 Ford, my Model King 69, does have a bunch of warping. So there's all that sort of weirdness that goes on, but I shrug into the what can you do stage, because at this point their customer service just doesn't care. They're without this turning into a 15-minute video ranting about Mobius, I'll just leave it there. On the round two side of things, a few kits of theirs have come out this week for the June releases, this being the Sunbeam Tiger. This is a little 260 cubic inch Ford-powered sports car. This is not, by the way, the Sunbeam Alpine, which is the Get Smart car, so there are no spy gadgetry or anything else like that. You still need to go find an original one of the Alpines to get those parts. I believe some of those spy parts are carried over into this kit, because the differences are basically an engine. The Alpine was I believe, a 4-cylinder, where the Tiger was Ford-powered. But it does not have all of them, nor does it have a complete set of them. You could possibly not even have any of them at this point, because it's unclear what Round 2 did or didn't put into this kit. But it does come with the flared fenders, another set of wheels, another set of tires, and sort of a Targa, B-pillar buttress, if you want to call it that, to turn this into the racing version that was also available when the kit was released. This is another one of those Lesney tools that everybody thought had evaporated, although anybody who really knew the heritage of this kit knew it hadn't gone very far, because this kit was offered as a Blueprinter exclusive in the 1990s in just a plain white box. You can find those on eBay if you do enough digging for them. They come up from time to time. But this, of course, being a brand new minty release of that with new decals by Cartograph and all that happiness, probably will be something I will pick up as time goes along, just because I think it's a cool little car, and it fits into, I have the Aoshima MGBs, and I have, of course, all of the little Japanese convertible that came out in the 1960s as well, so that'll fit into my collection in that way. The other Round 2 kit that came out this week is the AMT boxing of the Lindbergh 1964 Plymouth Belvedere Richard Petty NASCAR kit. We talked about this last week, as it was just something that was tossed into the releases after we did our June compilation video. And as we mentioned, this is not a new kit by AMT. This is not a rerun of, I don't think there was an annual 64 Plymouth in the first place from AMT. But if there was, of course, this is a little bit before my time to say one way or another. But if there was, this isn't it. This is the Lindbergh tool from the 1990s. Perfectly excellent kit, as most 1990s Lindbergh kits actually were. It's a shame that Lindbergh's reputation really got dragged through the mud when they went underneath or got sold out of Craft House and went under J. Lloyd, and then they started reissuing all the old Premier and IMC and what's the name I'm forgetting there? It's something Palmer. All those old, really awful toolings that really need to be beat up into making them turn into something that resembles the car that they show on the box. A lot of Lindbergh's reputation got really just, I said, dragged through the mud with that because it completely and totally obliterated all of the really good work they did in the 1990s when their kits were comparable, if not a little better than anything that AMT Ertl or Revell Monogram was putting out at the time. The 53 Fords and the 66, I think it was 66, right? I now have to sort of do a peek at the shelf here. Because AMT did one and they did the other one. I want to say AMT's is the 66 and theirs was the 67. They did the Oldsmobile 442. They did the 61 Impala kits, the 64 Dodges, the 64 Plymouths. There was all those really, nice. You could argue proportions, and the original 61 Impala had the wrong roof, but they went ahead and retooled it, and and now that 61 Impala that will be reissued by AMT under their boxing in the coming months will be the one that's correct. They did, like I said, a really decent amount of good kits, plus there was the 120th scale modern cars they did that really cover some interesting areas that you really kind of wish for 124th or 125th scale, because at 120th scale, nobody really bought them, and they kind of went by the wayside because of, let's face it, and I'm not really one of those people because I have a few of them. I don't know, they're not behind me anymore. I don't know where they went. But they did like a Ford Explorer Sport, a two-door. They did a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, a Nissan hardbody pickup truck, several things, along with Camaros and Firebirds, and an S10 and a Blazer in 120th scale. But there's a lot of scale bigots out there that that can't even handle the difference between 125th and 124th, let alone the mind-blowingness of 120th scale. So the kits didn't really do all that well, and again, sort of it is what it is. It's in the past. Some of those 120th scale kits go for quite a bit of money on eBay, which is kind of ironic because anybody who was in the retail at the time knows that those things really just hung out and didn't go anywhere back in the day. And now they're, of course, they're gone and you can't find them. And oh my goodness, they're just so desirable. So is it really worth rerunning any of them? Maybe the Nissan pickup truck, that would be kind of cool to have back, but oh well. Anyway, over on the Asian side of things, a plethora of reissues from Fujimi and Aoshima. Fujimi's this week are the combination kit of the Porsche 911 Carrera 2 and 4. These were separate kits in the past, and they are now unified into one box. The only difference between these two kits in the actual box themselves, other than having, I believe they have window masks for the first time, is the fact that the Carrera 2 is an automatic and the Carrera 4 is a manual. So there are different gear shifts and different pedal sets to do the automatic transmission and the manual transmission, as well as you can't put a right-hand drive dashboard into this. I don't know if that was done to make them JDM spec or what exactly, but you could now build it as a JDM or British Australian spec as well, I guess. But there's not and the decals do all the Carrera 2, Carrera 4 logos. It's the same set of wheels in both, so not a lot of differences. It was really great, when you figure that these were two separate kits at one point, and at one point you would have to spend about, $45 to get them both, and you would have found out that, it was a gear shift and a pedal set were the only differences between the two kits that you bought. So having them both in the same box allows you to choose which one you're going to do, and the instructions basically are, call out here and there what little differences there are. Mainly, a lot of the differences you'll see are like, they paint the mirrors this color for this car and paint them, this color, because obviously the Carrera 2 is the one in the foreground, and it's going to be yellow or that greenish color, and then the white one in the back is the Carrera 4. They also reissued their 2 F1 kits for this month. This is the Ferrari F138. This is 1/20th scale, 144 parts, so it's full detail kit. This represents, or full detail within as much as you can, because a lot of these more modern F1 cars, there's not a whole heck of a lot of engine to show because it's all shrouded and stuff like that. But this represents the winning race car for the China Grand Prix in 2013, and then the reissue of the Ferrari F150 Italia. This represents the second place position car in the 2011 Grand Prix of Italy. This again, 153 parts and more or less full detail. Aoshima reissued a bunch of cars this week, most of them with a movie tie-in. The 2 that aren't movie cars would be this. This is the top secret Nissan S15 Silvia, so the tuner version of the Silvia back out. Curbside and all that happiness with I believe this thing has like a working metal suspension in it. And then the Mazda Roadster RS. We've talked about this kit a little bit on the channel here because it's been a while since this version came out. It is the only version of the second-gen Miata that there is, although this being the JDM version, as just being the Mazda Roadster. We showed it here in one of the more recent acquisition videos, easy for me to say, that they did do a Mazda Miata version at one time back in the early 2000s, late 90s, when the second-gen Miata Roadster came out. So, again, if you want to build one that has left-hand drive and Mazda Miata lettering and logoing, you need to find the old vintage, at this point vintage, because it's, almost 20 years old, Aoshima kit that was only done one time. This kit, will have everything you need, except it's only going to have Japanese Mazda Roadster logos, and it's only going to have right-hand drive. The left-hand drive dashboard is not there. One reissue that came out earlier than expected, because this is actually a July reissue, is this. This is, of course, the kit Knight Rider Season 4 kit. The Season 4 kit, if you will. Yep, that's right. I made that joke. It's probably the most accurate version of the car itself, but unlike the MPC kit from back in the day, it's not a full detail kit. Of course, the MPC kit in the back in the day was also based off the actual street car and not designed to be specifically the TV show car, and so it's a compromise between the TV show car and the actual real life Firebird. Beyond that, I don't know what else to say about this. I've never actually opened one. I've never had one. I don't know, what there is about it that makes it any better or any worse than anything else. As I say, the Season 1 will be out too. I really don't know the difference between the Season 1 and the Season 4 without looking at the instructions and seeing what parts may or may not be different about it. Staying with the movie cars. That's not a movie car. Technically, it's a movie car. Why am I not? There we go. I clicked on this. I swear I did. All 3 of the Back to the Future kits have been reissued. This, of course, Back to the Future from 1, Back to the Future from 2, and better or worse, Back to the Future Part 3. The Back to the Future Part 3 kit does come with the wide whites and the 1950s conversion, if you will. If you watch the movie, you know all about this. It also comes with a little railroad display base and railroad wheels to make it basically the final version of the Back to the Future DeLorean. The wheels do fold under for the Back to the Future Part 2 car, so you can display it in a flying posture. I don't think there's actually a base in this kit anymore to display it sort of like propped up in the air. At one point there was. They did all 3 of those kits at one point in time as sort of being a really high-end version, and they all had photo etch and all sorts of things, and at that point, that thing had like a base so you could display it flying. I don't know that the base is still in the kit anymore, but like I said, the base for the Back to the Future Part 3 kit with a railroad base with the railroad wheels, that still is in there because it would be kind of silly not to. And then 4 of the 5 Cebu Kitsatsu kits have been reissued, and they are I'm hoping this goes in the right order if I can get this to play, because being cantankerous. Nope, that's RS2. So they are the Machine RS1, the Machine RS2, and the Machine RS3. Also, the Machine X. Basically, there's 3 different versions of the same car. This, and then there's sort of a slick top, if you will. You notice it has a rotator stuck on the side of the door panel behind the door, on the quarter panel behind the door. And then this one, I don't know enough about the TV show to know what's different, or if all 3 ran at one time, or what's going on. But they are effectively all the same model kit, just slight variations. And then, of course, those I believe are Nissan Leopards. This right here is a Nissan Skyline. And this is the Machine X, was the boss's car in the series. It was the I can't explain the show to you guys. I really can't. I don't know enough about it, but I just know that in the promotional material, it's always like, the Machine 10 or the Machine X is their boss's car. Yeah, it's boss's car. So. Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, all 4 of those kids are back out. It seems like they've reissued the Seibu Kitsatsu cars and the Back to the Future cars pretty much, every other month now for 2 years that we've been doing the show, but I know it's not quite that much, but I know that I've talked about them more than once in the last year. So they continue to be popular sellers, and they'll continue to reissue them because really, from their point of view, they're printing money at that point. And guys, I believe that's it for this week. So we're still waiting on several things. We have one more reissue from Fujimi hanging out. The last version of the Nissan Sunny pickup truck from Hasegawa is still lingering out there. Several of the reboxes of the Aoshima kits, the model car, the tuned model car, are still slated to come out this month. Of course, all of the Revell kits for this month, the 30 Ford Hot Rod and the 48 Ford, as well as the Chevy SS Snap-Tight NASCAR kits, are still pending and probably will be out towards the end of next week if you have a preferred provider shop. If not, you're going to have to wait till the end of the month. And then there's still 3 more round 2 kits coming out, 1 Polar Lights and then 2 more AFT kits. And then we'll be off into the summer. By the time we talk to you guys, we will pass the longest day of the year, and we'll officially be in the dog days of summer. I know it's kind of hard to follow along with everybody's YouTube's videos, everybody's channels during the summer because there's so much other stuff going on. I, for one, with 3 kids, know exactly how much time is taken up by trying to watch YouTube videos, trying to create content and all that stuff. So appreciate everybody who watches. Welcome to all the new folks. The subscriber count kicked up in the last couple of weeks by about 25 people. Not sure why or how, but thank you to everybody who's shared and promoted via word of mouth this channel. Appreciate all your support, of course. And until we see you guys next time, there is a NBA playoff game Sunday, and I am a resident of Northeast Ohio for probably about half my life. Half my life I've spent around Pittsburgh. Half my life I've spent around Cleveland. Go figure out how my sports loyalties lie there. But Cavs are playing here on Sunday. Would love to see them win, just to have Cleveland finally get a championship in something. And so that's where I'll be rooting. I don't think I'm going to watch the game like I did the Penguins. Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, Penguins, we won. Woo! Stanley Cup champions again. Anyway, see you guys on the other side.